Hi everyone, this is Lorraine, Brian, and Graham, and today I thought I would talk to you about breastfeeding because my boobs look extremely full today.
Nice.
So I just got done feeding him, so he's kind of in his little own world right now. I first want to make the statement that I am by no means pro breastfeeding. I decided to breastfeed on solely superficial reasoning. I just want to state that first and foremost, I was formula fed. Brian was breastfed, and he's breastfed. So it's not like I'm not pro one or the other. There are just some advantages that I thought I would try out breastfeeding if I could. First was because I heard that it helped you lose weight quicker, which, do you think that I definitely don't have a baby belly anymore. I'm still like kind of soft around the edges, but I definitely don't have a baby belly anymore. So it did help, I think. But it could have been just genetically speaking, that's what happened to my body. So it really is hard to say whether that helped or not. I know that I did take a breastfeeding class, and I learned in the class that some people actually don't lose weight until after they stopped breastfeeding. So you could end up being one of those people. I could stop breastfeeding and I could lose like 20 pounds. Like that could happen to my body. So we'll see. It is a free option. Why not try what's free? I think the most important thing when you decide that you want to breastfeed is to keep your options open, because you may or may not be able to breastfeed. I went in with an open mind. I went in thinking if I could, I would, but if I can't, no big deal. So I think that's part of it, is you have to go in with an open mind, because if you go in saying, I'm going to breastfeed, you're probably going to get really upset trying if the baby's not willing to try. So if you kind of go in with like having that attitude first of all, I think you'll have an easier time. When I went to the hospital, after I gave birth, they're like, you want to breastfeed? I'd already told them previously. They asked if I wanted to formula feed or breastfeed, and they asked me, if you want to breastfeed after the baby was born? And I said, yeah, I want to try. And so the nurse actually helped. So it's really nice to ask the nurses for help. Like that's the biggest thing that you could do, is ask the nurses for help, because they are there to help you, and they are very helpful. So I had the nurse come in, and she put him on my one boob. He fed for 15 minutes, and then she put him on my other boob for me. She did it for me. I didn't have to do anything. So my first experience breastfeeding was really easy. Then from there on out, when I went to feed him, I had a little bit harder of a time. Just trying to figure out how to hold him, I think, was like the biggest issue for me. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to hold him, because all of the nurses were telling me to hold him like this when I was breastfeeding, and so basically put his head in my hand and kind of feed him like this. This was so comfortable, and Mommy's gonna wake him up right now. Originally at the hospital, they were telling me to hold him like this while breastfeeding. So basically you take your boob, put it in his mouth, and that's how you would get him to, you know, latch on. You want to hold and... Hi, baby. So I just kind of almost in the hospital, I was about to say, like, I don't want to do this, because it just is like so uncomfortable. And so every time I would go to feed him, I would have a nurse come in to actually help me feed him, because I just kind of wanted to, like, you know, make sure I was doing it right, because it just didn't feel right. And then finally, I think, like, I had fed him a good amount of times, and then this other nurse came in, just a totally different nurse, and she told me to hold him with his head here. Hard time though when they were telling me to hold his head like that. Just was really difficult to get my boob in his mouth and with one hand and hold him with the other. But then when they finally said, oh, you can hold him with his head here, it just was so much easier. Like, I haven't had a problem ever since more. So that made everything so much easier. So that's what the nurses are there for. So always when you're at the hospital, keep getting like help. Like, it's not a problem to ask for help. They never acted like I was like a pain in the butt. Like, they acted like I think that was the only time I would actually like call. We didn't really call them in all that much. They were always coming in to check, like, are you okay? Is there anything we can do for you? And I'd always ask when they came in, hey, can you show me like how to breastfeed again? Like, can you help me out? So that was helpful. So I haven't had any issues breastfeeding since then. One of the things that I think that is nice to have, but not necessarily completely necessary, is a boppy pillow. I use mine at nighttime mainly, but usually if I'm feeding him during the day, I really don't usually have anything underneath me. I just usually hold him, and that's about it. And you get really nice arm muscles in the process. So that's part of the one of the perks to breastfeeding. I guess bottle feeding, you'd probably get nice arm muscles too, because you could hold the baby and bottle feed them like that too. But you really do get nice arm muscles breastfeeding a baby. With breastfeeding for me was that I was really concerned that I was going to be like really weird, because breasts to me were very sexual. But when you feed a child from your boob, it's more of a feeling of it being kind of a remarkable thing rather than a sexual thing. Like, it's just kind of amazing that you can actually feed something through your body. Like, that's how our bodies work, that they can create a life and then you can feed that life directly from your body without anything else. It's pretty amazing. Feel as though you aren't, like you wish that you could be feeding the baby more or anything like that? Like, does it make you feel bad at all? Okay. Like I have pumped, and I do pump every once in a while, and I have it saved in the refrigerator, but we use it, I pump more like in the event that we're going somewhere, and I don't want to get my boobs out in public. I'm the kind of person that will not breastfeed in public. I breastfeed in my car. With the air conditioning on. Someone asked me like a question on one of my videos, it must get really hot in your car. I'm like, nope, got air conditioning on. But I breastfeed in my car a lot, but I don't ever breastfeed like in places. So that answers, like, I'm not one of those people that's going to breastfeed in public. I would be more comfortable breastfeeding in a bathroom, where I hear a lot of times people say they're like opposed to breastfeeding in a bathroom because you wouldn't go to the bathroom and eat your meal or something like that. But babies, when like he was first born, he would poop while I was feeding him. He doesn't do that anymore. He actually will eat and then poop. Yeah, so I'm not opposed to feeding him in a bathroom. What is the rules like with breastfeeding? Is it like if I were to like need to breastfeed him at a restaurant, could I theoretically pull out my boob and feed him in the restaurant, or? It seems kind of like you'd be exposing yourself in public. I wouldn't necessarily. Like, I obviously, like, you know, show the goods, but not like, I don't show all the goods. I leave a little bit to the imagination of the nipples. I find that are difficult about breastfeeding is that you have to do it so often, at least for me. Breastfed babies have to feed every 2 to 3 hours during the day. And then at nighttime, you can go through longer spurts of time, but literally he feeds every single, like, every 2 hours on the 2 hour mark. Like, he has an internal alarm clock that tells him, hey, it's time to feed right now. And if I do not get to him at that very minute, he will scream like he has not eaten in days. Like, it's horrible. So we try not to get to that point, but that's one of the things with him, is that he needs to eat every so often. So that's the downfall to breastfeeding. Feeding, it takes up a lot of time. I'm not even kidding. Like, how long do you think I feed him for? Do you think it takes about 20? The whole process of feeding him and changing him and everything is about 20-minute period. He feeds pretty quickly though. But then I like give him time to go to the bathroom, change him. Like, it really is like a whole ordeal. It's like 20-minute periods every 2 hours. So then you're left with an hour and 40 minutes or whatever before you have to feed the child again. So it really is really time consuming. At nighttime, that's a different story. He feeds probably every 4 hours at nighttime. So you get like breaks. But another thing with breastfeeding is because I don't want to breastfeed in public, you really have to plan your schedule according to when he last ate. So I try to leave the house, like I try to feed him and then leave the house so that I've got that 2-hour span to like do whatever I need to do. But when you have a baby, it just takes more time to do everything that, like even like a simple trip to the grocery store takes you 20 minutes more than it ever took you before. Like you got to take everything out of the car, put it back in, like it's like a whole ordeal now, which isn't a problem, but you have to plan around his feedings. At least that's how I do it. I know then with formula fed, you wouldn't have to necessarily do that. You just have your formula on you and you're on the go and you're good to go. Shake it and go. I know that formula fed babies only have to eat every 3 to 4 hours, so that gives you a lot more time. That hour is like crazy because 2 hours goes by so fast. An extra hour would be like all the time in the world. Because like sometimes during the day, he'll take a nap and it'll be a nap that like is maybe like 45 minutes. And 45 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, why is he sleeping so long? It just seems like it's such a long period of time, but it's so little. I don't know how to explain it. Pro to breastfeeding is that the nighttime feedings are definitely like a good time to breastfeed because like if I hear him in the middle of the night, I hear him grunting and I know it's time to feed him. I can't imagine if I had to get formula ready and I had to like go to the kitchen, get formula ready, and like he'd be screaming. Because if he doesn't get his food when he wants his food, he literally will start screaming. And it's like, oh, can you just give me like 1 minute, buddy? And it's like, no, I cannot give you a minute. I need my food now. I haven't eaten for 2 hours. Like, it's literally like he starts screaming like he hasn't eaten for 2 days if you don't get him that food right away. So nighttime feedings, I think, are like...
He's such a good-looking boy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking boy, so you can't get upset. But you're like, wow, just like, hold on, buddy. Like, calm down. Like, mommy's gonna feed you. People always say that breastfeeding is great for bonding with your baby, and I disagree with that. I think, you know, it's a great source of like fuel. It's pretty amazing that you can feed a baby with your body. Like you don't need anything, you just are feeding a baby with your body. But I see the bond that my baby has with my husband, and he's not feeding the baby from his chest. And so I think that the baby's gonna love you and bond with you regardless of if you're feeding it off of your boob or not. Do you feel as though the baby loves me more than you?
A little bit more.
But I'm his mom.
But that's true too. He's around you more, but a little bit.
But like not like a crazy amount. Like I don't think that breastfeeding created a bond between us.
He's more comfortable with you.
He's more comfortable with me.
Especially when he starts crying.
Yeah, when he starts crying, you bring him to me and
he's good.
He's calm. I think he just knows my scent really well, which could be partially due with breastfeeding. I'm not sure. I learned in my breastfeeding classes that it could potentially hold off on the baby getting allergies. It's not going to prevent a baby from getting allergies. I've heard him sneeze, like at times where I sneeze too. Like we went to, where were we? We were in like Sam's Club or something, and we were going through one of the aisles for the house cleaning stuff, and I sneezed and he was sneezing, so he's definitely gonna have mommy's allergies, I think. But it doesn't people say it gets rid of allergies, but I don't think it actually gets rid of allergies. It prolongs a child from getting allergies, is what I learned in my breastfeeding class. Pro to breastfeeding, you get bigger boobs. Basically, you get a free boob job when you breastfeed. I look like I have porn star boobs. What do you think? I think that if we have another child, then I'm going to end up having to get breast implants because my boobs are going to be really ruined after this. I have a feeling my boobs are going to be really ruined. I think the pro is that you have big boobs now, The downfall is that it's gonna really mess up my boobs in the process. Like, my mom did not breastfeed and her boobs are really perky. So hopefully genetically, like, my boobs can just be perky afterwards. However, what I've seen from people that have breastfed, that's not the case. So I think that breastfeeding really does mess up your boobs in the long run, where I'm gonna have to get these really nice breast implants to like get this look again. To give them some oomph again, but yeah. Another con to breastfeeding is it really affects your wardrobe. You have to just be always conscious of wearing something that you can easily access your boobs. So I like the tank top I'm wearing today is double layered, which is also something you have to think about because boobs will leak. So all of a sudden you'll look down and your nipple will be leaking through, and it's not appealing. So you really have to be conscious of what you're going to wear. So you have to be easily accessible, and you have to have extra protection in there for the leakage. So that's kind of something that's a little crazy. What I found that's really nice is wearing like a nursing tank top and then wearing something on top of the nursing tank top that you can easily like pull up and like pull out. So I will do like a mommy essentials video where I'll include like my favorite nursing tank tops and my favorite breast pads and all that jazz. However, there are things that I need to avoid now while I'm breastfeeding, so I can no longer eat dairy because I realized that dairy made his skin like completely break out. I don't know if it was coincidence and I stopped having dairy and it made the acne go away, but he would scream sometimes when he was trying to go to the bathroom. I think dairy really was affecting him, don't you think so? And then if he's acting like really fussy the next day, I try to think of what I ate that could have affected him. And so I've avoided dairy now, spicy things, and asparagus. And then some vegetables will like make him a little bit like, you know, whatever. But those are things that I know to avoid now because I'm breastfeeding. So you have to watch what you eat. You obviously have to be careful if you plan on consuming alcohol. For me, I really can't drink any alcohol. The most I've been able to drink is like a beer. And I don't even finish that. It's just like alcohol after like not drinking alcohol for a whole like 9-month period. It's just hard to drink alcohol then. It's just like too strong. I wasn't really a big drinker until I met Brian. And then I became like kind of a big drinker, but not even like, I had like 2 drinks at the most.
How much of a big drinker?
Well, you made me drink more than I like ever drank before, but I drank like 2 drinks at the most. Yeah. And now if I try to drink anything that has like pure alcohol in it, like vodka or something in it, like I can take a sip of it, but it tastes like pure rubbing alcohol. Try to drink wine and it tastes like vinegar. The only thing I've been able to drink is like beer, like IPAs. I like IPAs, but I can't even drink a whole one. I think that is everything. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them below, and we will see you all next time with another video. Goodbye.